Had a quick chance to look through it. Went through the listing, went through the district, the Southeast District Plan, just to have a little context about how the city thinks about this area and this lot specifically, or how they would think about this lot if I was in their shoes. To me, really isn't a townhouse deal. It really isn't a tower deal. This is a rezoning and phasing opportunity where the value comes from how you unlock the density over time, not right away. Because the city has plans for this area regarding like density, but it's not immediate. And because it's not in a major node or corridor, it's in proximity to it, you kind of have to phase it out over time. So right now, the site breaks into two different pieces in my mind. Just looking at ballpark here, obviously we already know it's zoned RS, which is kind of one of the challenges here. When I first actually looked at it, it was only just this church. So when I reread the listing, it confirmed it's a bunch of sites assembled together by the seller. So looks like you have like a big assembly opportunity here for whoever buys it. But the way I'm looking at this is like a few different zones. You have zone A, which is abutting against the street here, the edges and the frontage. Then you have zone B, which is the back of the lot where the parking lot is, abutting into the alley. And then you have the church, which is also part of this deal, which is a challenge, but it could be opportunity in disguise. I read this district plan kind of as closely as I could with regards to what the city has planned for this area. This lot is right here. So this is Bonnie Doon. This is White Ave, obviously. So this neighborhood or Idlewild, or this exact lot is not exactly in a node. It's not in a district node. It's not in a corridor, but it's close. It's within proximity. So the city likes that for a phased density play. But growth is supposed to happen across these mature neighborhoods over time. And the highest density is focused in the nodes like the Bonnie Dunes and along corridors like White Ave. So that's kind of where the focus is if you really wanted to push for density like a tower. But eventually, you can get density here, but it can't be tower density. It can't be like a tall tower. It has to be gradual intensification. Mid-rise is totally doable though, the missing middle, as they say. Tower, like I said, because the city will have a challenge with the amount of density in this pocket. That will be a challenge. The other challenge, which is townhomes, that's the immediate play, and that's what most developers will approach this as if they want to keep it super simple. Because with RS, you can put some townhomes in here, but that's not really the highest and best use of the lot based on how you could rezone it. It is the highest and best use based on how it is zoned right now. But if someone was really looking strategically, they'd say, well, this is a phased hybrid development. Phase one is you develop the parking lot. So phase one would be the zone A across this 86th Ave. You'd put some, 2 to 3 story row houses here, townhomes. So you can push units without friction because that's already zoned RS. And then behind it, you put some multifamily. So the front half of this lot, you put your row houses. The second half of this lot, you have a little bit higher push for like RMH 23 and put some multifamily units, whether it's rentals or condos. So then you have like the stair step frontage or facade to really max out the density without really flagging anything from the city level about being too dense. The church becomes your second phase, and ultimately, like based on my experience with Belgium, this is a really cool redevelopment opportunity. Could be a repositioning too, but church layouts are pretty challenging to convert to residential. So, the church could be townhomes, keeping the footprint the same. It could be additional density. If I was packaging this for investors, I wouldn't position it as a 60 unit townhouse deal. I'd position it as a phase site with like 80 to maybe 120 units potential, depending on the rezoning, with a clear downside protection and upside through density. The downside protection is your row houses. The upside protection is doing some kind of like multifamily on the back end of this parking lot here. So if that's kind of the modeling you'd like to see done, I could happy to unit mix this out for you in ballpark and get some maybe back and napkin numbers and a pro forma, and then we can go from there.